I'm Michelle. I usually work from home, but once a month I travel for work. Ugh, another exhausting trip. I'm off tomorrow, so I'm planning to unwind with a massage and then hit the sack. Just as I was thinking this and about to unlock my front door, for some reason, the chain lock is on the door. I live in a high-rise apartment downtown with my husband Ryan. We have been married for 3 years. I assumed he got home before me. "Hey Ryan, you home, right?" I called out to my husband Ryan. No answer from inside, but I hear the TV from the back room. He is definitely in there. Feeling certain, I call out louder. "Ryan, it's me, Michelle. The chain lock is on, so could you unlock it?" Suddenly, I hear heavy footsteps approach, and a face peers through the door gap. It's my mother-in-law. "Would you quit yelling? You're disturbing the neighbors." "What? Mother-in-law? Is there a problem if it's me?" "No, I just wasn't expecting you." "Huh. Well, this is a good time to tell you need to leave this place." I'm stunned by her sudden declaration. More importantly, this is my apartment. Yes, I bought this high-rise apartment and I'm the one paying the mortgage and everything. Why would I have to leave? Confused, I managed to ask mother-in-law, why should I leave? You wouldn't get it, you homebody." "Homebody?" "In short, this apartment now belongs to me." "What? What do you mean?" "I changed the title to my name so you can't enter this room." Mother-in-law says this with a triumphant look. I'm speechless, but one thing's for sure, I'm not at fault here. There's no point in arguing when I'm already tired. It seems like we should discuss this calmly. I asked mother-in-law, "So you really want me to leave?" "Yes, that's what I've been saying. Just go already." "Understood." "Huh? You're surprisingly agreeable." Arguing is a hassle, excuse me. With that, I stepped back into the elevator. Come to think of it, mother-in-law has always had it out for me, like when I went to Ryan's family meeting. Mother-in-law bluntly told me, "I can't live with you." Well, I never said I wanted to live with you either. As I replied, mother-in-law retorted as if I were a back-talking child. "It doesn't matter what you think. I don't want to live with you." I see. "If you have an issue with it, we can call off the engagement." What is she talking about? I thought to myself. Anyway, it's clear mother-in-law doesn't want to live with me. Well, that makes things simple. "I get what you're saying, mother-in-law. So you're breaking up the engagement?" Mother-in-law sneered. "No, I meant we won't live together." "Oh, okay then." Mother-in-law looked displeased. I was really ticked off. If you really want to cancel the engagement, just say you don't approve of the marriage, I thought. As if she heard my thoughts, mother-in-law shouted, "Fine, I don't approve of the marriage." "Why not? I also agree we shouldn't live together." She didn't seem to have a reason. Maybe she just likes complaining. Fortunately, father-in-law intervened and sorted things out. But mother-in-law continued to oppose our marriage, like when I brought up the age difference. Actually, I'm older than... As soon as I said that, mother-in-law became furious. "An older wife? That's unthinkable. Will you really be submissive to your husband?" The idea of a woman being submissive to a man is outdated. It's all about equality now. There is no rule that a wife should be submissive to her husband or that younger people should obey older ones. We're supposed to support each other in life. That's what modern marriage is all about. But it seems like mother-in-law doesn't see it that way. She thinks a wife should be younger and always follow her husband's lead. What an old-fashioned mindset she has. In any case, our perspectives were too different. My mother-in-law didn't like me, that much was clear. And so the tension between my mother-in-law and me continued to linger. How can I counteract this? After pondering, I chose to live in a high-rise condo. Ryan agreed to the arrangement provided I handle the mortgage. I knew it wasn't a small commitment financially speaking, but I wanted to send a clear message to my mother-in-law that cohabiting was off the table, and it worked. She stopped criticizing me, however. This only meant she stopped complaining about our living arrangements and marriage. She still didn't like me. So every once in a while, she would visit and start criticizing me, most annoyingly about household chores. In her mind, I was a stay-at-home wife who neglected housework. That's far from the truth. I'm a travel magazine writer. I even travel on site once a month for stories. But I spend the majority of my time in front of a computer, so if mother-in-law sees me, she assumes I'm not working. Our visits usually turn into arguments because of this. "You have time to play, so do some housework." "I am actually working right now." "What? You're just messing around on your computer. No, I'm working. You're really bad at lying. Work is something you do at an office. At first, I would always argue that I was working, but as these confrontations became routine, they grew tiresome. I mean, we're not living together, so a bit of patience won't hurt. If I can just get through this now, the rest will sort itself out. Arguing is a waste of time, so I started brushing her off. My mother-in-law didn't seem to find this amusing. She started telling me, "You neither work nor do chores. You're lazy. Get out. You're in the way." Though she's not a permanent resident in my home, she still visits, so I've started ignoring her completely. It feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. However, one thing still concerns me. That's the relationship between Ryan and my mother-in-law. Ryan and his mother are close. That's not a bad thing, but they have stayed close even after Ryan and I got married. Of course, they're family, so I can't say they shouldn't be close, but there is a limit to everything. When I'm away on assignments, they meet secretly at our house. If they were open about it, it would be fine, but sneaking around makes me wonder if they're up to something. Are they talking behind my back? Are they plotting to kick me out? These dark thoughts have crossed my mind. Just the other day, I had a rare overseas business trip. I was heading to Southeast Asia, assigned by my editors to write an article targeting the holiday season. When I told Ryan about the trip, he said, "Lucky you, getting to travel overseas for work? It's not a vacation, it's for an assignment." "But you'll be touring tourist spots, right?" "Well, yes, but then it's almost like a vacation." Ryan seemed simply envious. Sure, an overseas trip can be fun if there's time, but usually the schedule is packed and there's hardly time to shop for souvenirs, so it's not all that glamorous. I tried explaining this to Ryan, but he didn't get it. "I wouldn't understand your world. Makes me realize how mundane my life is." He seemed genuinely envious, but that didn't ease my concerns. What if they're conspiring against me when I'm gone? What would I do in that situation? My mind raced with these thoughts. Feeling anxious, I wanted to consult someone. That's it. The lawyer our editorial department has on retainer might listen to my concerns. So I consulted with Lauren, a female lawyer who our department contracts with. And that's what's been happening. After listening, Lauren thought for a moment and said, "If anything happens, I'll handle it." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. However, it will be a separate fee from the department's contract." "That's no problem." And so I gained a powerful ally. Feeling reassured, I went on my business trip, and when I got back, I faced mother-in-law's new attitude. She was talking about changing the house title and telling me, the homeowner, to move out. Unbelievable! I had reached the end of my rope. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to give my mother-in-law a piece of my mind. Kicked out of my own home by my mother-in-law, I yelled this while alone in the elevator. Once out of the high-rise apartment, I immediately called Lauren. I explained what had happened. Lauren told me, "All right, let's sort this out tomorrow." "Can you do that?" "Yes, I had no plans tomorrow anyway." "Thank you so much." So it was settled. Lauren and I would confront my mother-in-law together. I stayed in a business hotel near the train station that night to prepare for the following day. After a good night's sleep, I met up with Lauren near the station. We went over our plans in detail at a nearby family restaurant. After that, I contacted someone, and then Lauren and I headed to my house. When I rang the doorbell, I heard my mother-in-law's voice. "Hello? Hello?" She popped her head out, visibly pleased. "Hello, mother-in-law." "Oh, I thought it was a delivery." "Too bad, we're coming in." No, you can't. You left on your own." "This is my house. If you refuse, I'll call the police right here." I said this as a final warning, but she didn't seem to care. She boldly told us, "The police? Go ahead and call them. Didn't I tell you that the house is in my name?" This is going nowhere, I thought, and made eye contact with Lauren. Lauren nodded and asked, "May we have a moment?" "What do you want?" "I'm Lauren, Michelle's attorney. I'm here at her request." "And why would an attorney come?" "It's a delicate matter, so perhaps inside would be best." "I refuse. I won't let strangers into my home." That should be my line. As I thought this, Lauren sighed and said, "Fine, let's let the neighbors hear about your crime." My mother-in-law's face changed color. Suddenly flustered, she said to me, "Michelle, make her stop talking." "That's not happening. All you have to do is let us in." "Ugh, fine, come in." Mother-in-law backed down, and I could finally return home, but let's be clear, this is just the beginning. Walking into the living room pumped up, I found Ryan laughing in front of the TV. Mom, where's the luggage? Ryan looks up. I'm back, Ryan. What, Michelle? What's with that reaction? Got something to hide? No, you said you left, so I'm just surprised is all. Fine, whatever. Ryan, come over here. I gestured and Ryan reluctantly got up and sat at the table. So here we were, sitting across from mother-in-law and her gang, and the conversation began. In the tense atmosphere, mother-in-law was the first to speak. Bold of you to come back home under these circumstances. Well, it's my house. As I retorted, mother-in-law's face turned sour. For the last time, it's my house now. The ownership's been transferred. Is that true? When I questioned her, mother-in-law treated me coldly. Of course, changing house ownership is easy. Guess you wouldn't know being a shut-in. Mother-in-law had a smug smile. When I looked at Lauren, she questioned mother-in-law. Earlier, you mentioned changing the house ownership. Are you sure about that? Don't act all high and mighty just because you're a lawyer. Stop making me repeat myself. Then who prepared the quitclaim deed? Deed? I did. Mother-in-law seemed a bit flustered. I quickly realized she was lying. But Lauren saw a different issue. In this case, the current owner Michelle would have to create and sign the deed, so you forged it? Forged? Yes. That's document forgery and I will report you to the authorities. Wait a minute. That's not true. I had someone do the paperwork. Who? A lawyer I know. I had a hunch that this was a lie too, but for Lauren, whether it was a lie or not didn't seem to matter. Lauren kept the conversation going in a composed manner. So let's talk more about this lawyer later. Mother-in-law looked visibly relieved. However, this respite is short-lived. Lauren doesn't let up. Next, let's discuss the matter of the mortgage. The mortgage? Yes, the home loan, in simple terms, the remaining balance. I don't know anything about that. If there is an outstanding mortgage, changing the property title is a breach of contract. You would have to pay the remaining balance in full. You didn't know that? Well, you changed the property title without even knowing these details? No, it's not that. Michelle said she would give it to me. This is ridiculous. No one would give away a home they're living in. And we have only been living here for a few years with a mortgage still being paid off. Mother-in-law's claims makes no sense. But Lauren has a different angle. So you're saying the property was transferred to you? Yes, transferred. That's right. It was given to me. Mother-in-law brazenly declares this. Lauren then brings out a calculator. If it was transferred, you will need to pay federal taxes. Please provide the details. Federal taxes? Depending on the property value, it could be a substantial amount. Lauren flashes a knowing smile. Meanwhile, mother-in-law and Ryan exchange pale-faced glances. The next moment, mother-in-law changes her tune. No, that's not it. I bought it from Michelle. There are no federal taxes when you buy, right? Either way, you'll need to pay property taxes. Maybe you should consult your lawyer for specifics. A lawyer? Whether it was transferred or purchased, you will still need to pay taxes. Lauren is blunt about it. When mother-in-law and Ryan can't respond, Lauren asks, "What will you do?" They remain utterly silent. After a few awkward minutes, mother-in-law finally speaks. I apologize. I lied about changing the property title. So you were lying after all? I shout at mother-in-law, who shrinks back and says, No, I didn't mean to deceive. What did you mean then? Well, I was trying to cause a divorce. Mother-in-law began to explain why she had done all this. The story dates back to the day before I left for an overseas business trip. That day, mother-in-law had a petty argument with father-in-law. Tit for tat, the argument quickly escalated. Father-in-law shouted at mother-in-law, I'm sick of you always wasting money. What are you talking about? I'm sick of you not making enough money too. What did you say? I said go earn more money. That's it. I want a divorce. And just like that, the in-laws decided to divorce, but then mother-in-law had a moment of clarity. Even though she complained about father-in-law not making enough, they had been living comfortably on his income. If they divorced, she would have to live on her savings alone. That would definitely decrease her quality of life. I don't want that. How can I maintain my lifestyle? After much thought, she concluded that moving in with us was the answer. But when I got married, I made it clear we wouldn't live together. I can't go back on my word now. After weighing her options, she decided to kick me out and live just with Ryan. So Ryan, you agree with mother-in-law to kick me out? Ryan stammered. Mother-in-law prodded Ryan.
Come on, Ryan agreed, didn't he?
Well,
Speak clearly, say you want a divorce.
despite mother-in-law's encouragement, Ryan couldn't bring himself to say it. I know why Ryan couldn't say it outright. If mother-in-law knew the reason, she would never suggest I divorce him, but after being treated this poorly, there's no way I could forgive them, so I brought up divorce first. Fine, let's get a divorce.
Oh, finally Michelle and I agree on something.
See? Even mother-in-law says so. Let's use this opportunity to divorce. Ryan looked down and silently nodded. Thinking I had won, I looked at Lauren. Lauren pulled out the divorce papers from her bag and said, "Here are the divorce papers. I'll go over them, so please sign here." Okay. Ryan quietly responded. We signed the divorce papers right then and there. Continuing from the previous scenario, I watched with a smirk. Finally, Ryan finished signing the divorce papers and handed them over. Is this good enough? I confirmed the signature with Lauren. So, you are officially divorced now. Lauren placed the divorce papers into her bag. At that moment, mother-in-law raised her voice.
Now Michelle is a stranger to us. Get out immediately.
Why should I? Smiling wickedly, mother-in-law said,
You initiated the divorce, so as compensation, I'll take this house.
But you were the one who first mentioned divorce, weren't you?
Huh? I don't know anything about that.
Mother-in-law feigned innocence, but it was so blatant it was almost refreshing. Regardless, I had no intention of paying her a dime, so I told her, "This all started because of your lie, mother-in-law. Let's talk about compensation."
No way, we're not paying you a single cent. Tell her, Ryan.
Mother-in-law nudges Ryan. Then Ryan, who had been silent, suddenly stands up. Yeah. Since the divorce is finalized, maybe I should say something. You're suddenly confident? I asked, and Ryan pulled out photos from his pocket and started ranting. Michelle, you said you were on a business trip overseas, but you were actually having an affair, weren't you? What? An affair? This is the evidence, this photo. Ryan slammed the photo onto the table with a thud. A photo? I looked at the photo puzzled. Indeed, I was in it, along with a photographer from the editorial department. Is this guy your lover? I have been following you. I saw you two getting cozy. You cheated. He's just a photographer from the editorial department. He was there to take photos. Liar, I saw it myself. Ryan insisted. I sighed. This might be more trouble than I thought. Just then, Lauren muttered, "This isn't proof of infidelity." What did you say? All these photos show that you are together. If you say you were doing an interview, there is no denying that. So what? Just being together is enough. It's cheating. In light of Ryan's words, I had reached the end of my rope. Slowly, I placed my laptop on the table and opened it so that both Ryan and my mother-in-law could see the screen. What's that? Ryan asked me. With an icy stare, I retorted, "I knew you were following me. I have pictures taken by a photographer to prove it." Immediately, I showed them the saved photos to my laptop. Ryan, arm in arm with another woman. Even more shocking, the location was the beach at the tourist spot we had visited for a report. What's this all about? I was stunned to find you in these pictures taken by the photographer while capturing landscapes. You in the middle of an affair. No, it's not what it looks like. She was just helping me tail you. Oh, so being together means an affair, right? Thinking he was putting me on the spot, Ryan had shot himself in the foot with his own words. He was left speechless, but I wasn't going to let it go that easily. You can't even hold down a job, yet you find the time to cheat? Expect a bill for damages. When I said that, my mother-in-law started to object.
It's your fault for being cheated on. Men who work for major corporations face a lot of temptations.
Oh, sure. A grocery store is a major corporation in its own right.
A grocery store?
Yes, Ryan works at a grocery store. He's just a part-time employee.
What? A major corporation, you said?
That was Ryan's big lie.
I can't believe it.
My mother-in-law was floored. By the way, I have invited that woman here as well. The three of you can sort this out. A few minutes later, the woman from the photo arrived at my house. In truth, I had arranged for a staff member to make contact with the woman under the guise of an interview. I had already arranged for her to come here before I even showed up by getting her contact details under the guise of thanking her. Needless to say, she and Ryan had quite the argument. She didn't even know that Ryan was married. He had told her I was his sister. Eventually, the police got involved and Ryan was forced to quit his part-time job. Last I heard, Ryan and his penniless mother had moved to an apartment they could barely afford with their small savings. They're scraping by with day-to-day jobs, but who knows how long that will last. Either way, it's none of my business anymore. As for me, I have divorced and I'm feeling light as a feather. For the foreseeable future, I'm focusing on my work and trying to forget about that cheating man.